Hi, welcome to the eletter video, this international break. This is what we're going to be looking at this week. How to survive the international break, a focus on teams with need, FIFA World Rankings to gauge teams' abilities, and I've also provided some free tutorials this international break while the league football is a little sparse. So let's take a look at the focus on teams with need. An important element of your trading decisions during the international break will be via the World Cup standings, because top two is the desired. And you can see in Group A, you wouldn't be playing this anymore because it's done and dusted. Okay, so these are effectively dead rubbers for the rest of the African World Cup qualifiers. So you'd have to be very careful if you're going to trade them. I did actually trade Sierra Leone because they had to win, as you can see. They lost 1-0, but they had to win. Covered the 0-1, and they just couldn't score the goal. I think they were playing Guinea-Bissau. Here we go. They're playing Burkina Faso, who have already qualified. So you can see, I had to get a result. 4.2 outsiders, so it was a bit of a gamble, but we ended up with a 0-1, and that was a break even. Another match to trade, Eswatini against Angola. Angola, as you can see, on 10 points prior to this match. A win would take them to 13 and within shooting distance of Cameroon. And if third place is of some importance, they could be knocking on the door there. Eswatini took a 2-0 lead here. That is a great trading angle. Given this was a must-win, really low entry point for a side leading 2-0. That's what I look for. Nice bit of value. And Boata and Papal Ari, the mighty Papal Ari, making it 2-2. I held out for the win, which I would have made about £140, I think. £16 on the draw, profit, £41 green screen on the 2-2. Now, I can't show you that, I'm afraid, because it's been wiped off, which is a real pity. So if we actually move to today, you'll see I've starred 4 matches of importance. That's not going to be a trading angle. 1.03, so we can ignore that from Algeria. Highly likely. No upsets there. Mozambique and Guinea-Bissau. Or Guinea, sorry. Mozambique and Guinea. If we go to the rankings, let's have a look at Mozambique and Guinea. It was a must-win for Guinea against Mozambique to get them within striking distance of Mozambique, take 3 points away, and they were on 10. You can see the importance of that. Now, as a trader, what you'd be looking at here would be to target that draw as late as possible. Now, the winner came early in the second half. You could lay the draw at half time. I prefer to use time pressure. If it's a must-win match, I prefer getting involved 80-plus minute when they have to really go for glory. But they got the win, and if you laid the draw, you'd have been rewarded with that. Similarly, Uganda had to get a result. If you take 3 points away from that, they are on 15 along with Mozambique. Now they've got some important breathing space between second and third, and they are in that crucial second place just with that win. Was there a trading angle? Indeed, 0-0 at half time. Must win territory, lay the draw second half, and hope that Uganda, because Botswana have been awful, Uganda get the 3 points, they can nearly smell World Cup qualification. Or moving on to the next stage at the very least. The mighty Sesa Mugabe getting the single goal for Uganda. So you can see, if we focus on teams who need to win and ignore the dead rubbers, which are teams who are outside the top 2, top 3, can't break through even with a win. So it's important to note that. Liberia and Namibia, let's have a look at this match as well in Africa. And you can apply this to the Europeans. You can apply this to the Asians as well. For example, the mighty Thailand, where I live, they were playing Chinese Taipei today. Very, very short price favourites, but 0-0 at half time. And they managed to get those 2 goals second half. So yet again, a nice trading angle with a must win for the Thai team. Let's have a look where Liberia are in the rankings and Namibia. Was this a must win? Indeed it was, because if Liberia hadn't have won, the gap between them and second place would be far too great. Now they're giving themselves a real shot at that second place there against Namibia. So must take points off your nearest rival. Simple as that. So yet again, if this is a 1-1 at some point, well, it wasn't. It was a comfortable Liberian afternoon. So no real trading angle, but it's a match to cover because Liberia must take points off their nearest rival in the group. So that's how I would play these internationals. Let's have a look at Finland, Lithuania, which is fresh. The green screen is nice and fresh, and that is a decent profit. Why? Because this lot, 145th in the world, took the lead, which was very nice of them. So we went straight to the match odds because if you look at the standings again, the Finns are expected to get the win. And it's vitally important as well, particularly with the other two sides dominating the Dutch and the Poles with games in hand. So the Finns must keep the pressure up, get the win. Came from behind, a nice 2 goals, and I negated all liability for a £43 green screen with a £40 liability. So nice return, limited risk. That's the template for any plays. Strong odds-on favourite at home, playing 145th in the world. Are they really going to be winning this match? Well, you got your answer there, didn't you? 3 draws and 3 defeats for Lithuania. 3 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses. You can see the importance of that win for Finland. That's why you'll have a degree of confidence if Lithuania scored first, which indeed they did, that the Finns would respond. And they did, nice and quick, just to rest our nerves. Kalman, 48th minute, and Markiev in the 55th. Got the job done. Bang. Excellent stuff. So it's a process you go through for every World Cup qualifier. Pick out the teams with the greatest need and focus on them. So you use soccer24.com. Have a look through, for example, Gambia against Gabon. Is there anything for these two to play for? Let's have a look. Gabon are second. There is no arrow there yet, so the job isn't done yet, but they are safe as houses, you would suspect. Gambia, 10 points. A win takes them to 13 and third, but it's a long slog to get to Gabon. So you'd think Gabon would be favoured here. If they can get the win, they could actually go top of the group. I think second leads to a playoff. So that tomorrow, or today, would be a vital win for Gabon. So I would be targeting this. If it's a draw late on, I would be looking to lay the late draw. So you do that with the majority of matches and make sure that you avoid matches with teams who don't have anything to play for. Here's another match, which is a must-win. Rwanda against Benin. Look how tight this Group C is. Imagine Rwanda are playing Benin today. It's one of those must-take points off your nearest rival. If Rwanda get the points, they could actually go into the top 2. Depending on goal difference, of course, but they'll be equal on points if they take points off Benin. So it's a vital must-win for Rwanda. That means it's a very good possible tradable match. Target any draws in these matches of great importance. Similarly, with Europe, it's early doors though, with the European qualifiers, so the urgency is not quite there with only a couple of matches played, but only 4 teams in the groups means that these teams have to start picking up points, don't they? We can just move this a little bit further and give us an idea of the points tally at the moment. So Northern Ireland and Germany could do with a win. Germany playing Luxembourg, so you're going to expect them to get the result, aren't you? Northern Ireland have a tricky encounter with Slovakia, who are top of the group. That, again, is a vital must-win for Northern Ireland, who find themselves second above Germany. So you can bet they're going to be fully motivated for this one. Yet again, it's must-win territory, isn't it? So you would be targeting any late draws in these matches. Very, very early in the European stint. So panic is not there just yet. But certainly look at the third place teams as being the teams with motivation. You can see that Finland getting that win, vitally important there. So that's how I would play the internationals. Make sure you've got some motivation involved. Let's take a quick look at the FIFA World Rankings, which are used to gauge teams' strengths and weaknesses and their abilities. Let's take a look. So this is the FIFA World Rankings site. It's the only real way to gauge the teams. When you have league football, we've got a whole raft of form to work off. We don't have with international, so we have to find some way to gauge the two teams. So if we're looking at Europe, you go to the UEFA Confederation. And let's take a look at Switzerland and Sweden. I don't know which one is better ranked of the two. Sweden are 32nd in the world. Switzerland are 17th in the world. So Switzerland are the best ranked of these two teams, but the markets put Sweden as favourite. So that would be a match of interest, wouldn't it? It just gives you a gauge. Top 20. Very impressive for the Swiss, but the market's not taken by them. So in any matches where you find it difficult to gauge the teams, do look at the FIFA rankings. Northern Ireland and Slovakia, for example, as well. Is there a big gap between these two? Northern Ireland, 72nd in the world. Slovakia, 42nd in the world. So there is a marginal gap between these two as well. But Slovakia and Switzerland, the better ranked of the two teams. Important to know, because if the match starts to develop and the away sides start to show their true form, then we might have a possible play involved there. So let's move on to some free tutorials. During the international break, it's a great time for me to reach out to members and ask them if they've got any queries or if they'd like any explanations on any particular football trading topic. With that in mind, I've done a few videos which are on YouTube, so do feel free to have a look at them yourself. So at the Football Trading Profits YouTube channel, we've got some very interesting topics. Dave P got in touch with me and wanted to know about how to control liability, particularly on over 1.5 goal market trades. So I've addressed that issue, how I would approach trading 1.5 goals and keeping my liability in check. We've also got some bet and go strategies. I've developed a couple of ideas. One of them is backing 0-0 in the half-time market. The other one is a possible lay the draw, 1 a day lay the draw strategy, which has an excellent strike rate. It's a small sample, but I'm going to be adding to these bet and go strategies because what I'd like to do for members is to provide them with an option to single out 1 or 2 matches a day and work it as a system. It saves their time. You can be straight in, straight out, and you don't have to fixate on any other matches. So that's a really good breakthrough. In-play stats scanners are absolutely vital if you are a football trader. So I've done a video on setup. One member asked specifically about how to set up an in-play stats scanner to target first half goals and late second half goals. So I've worked on that. And neutral markets. Neutral markets are an important trading element. Why? because they involve both teams. You don't have to side with one particular team to get a result. Use both teams, goals markets, laying the draw, laying a correct score, all neutral plays involving both teams. It can be very beneficial if you focus on neutral markets. It does save the heartache as well of the underdog making or scoring a second consecutive goal. The last one, expected goals. Expected goals is an important metric these days. I've done a video for members showing how I use expected goals for my trading decisions, how I can use expected goals, for example, to add confidence to my trades. Let me give you a quick example of that. This is an extremely good match for showing you the power of expected goals and how you can use them to create a decent trading outcome. We need to go to stats here at soccer24.com, looking at the first half. So do my pre-match checks. Odds on favourite is the away team. They find themselves a goal down at half time. And let's look at the expected goals. 0.89. Anything over 1 for expected goals 4 is a real positive. Anything near 1 as well is an indicator that they're creating enough good chances to score. Now, you're 1-0 down and you've produced 1.51 expected goals, i.e. the chances you're creating are excellent. So good, in fact, that you should really be scoring 1 to 2 goals in that half. So, as a trader, I would be taking this in mind. I would be taking in mind the fact that it's an away favourite, and I would be looking to take on this Winter Tour lead. But what on earth's going on here? Huntsicker spoiling the party with a 2-0. But remember, first half heading towards 2 goals, expected goals for an odds-on favourite away from home. Cue the comeback. That's your value entry point here to lay Winter Tour and to back Lugano. Off we go. Bislimi reading the script. Dos Santos doing the job. Behrens getting stuck in, getting us the win. And Simignani just putting a cherry on top at the end. So expected goals at half time can be extremely useful in determining your trade for the second half. You can look at the total expected goals, 3.1 to 1.0, pretty much reflected here, wasn't it? So Winter Tour overperformed. Their expected goals for the full match, 1.1, and they scored 2 goals. Lugano underperformed, really. 3 expected goals, 4 wins. Overperformed, sorry. Not expected to score the 4, but superb chance creation. That's what XG is. It's the creation of chances. So do please, this video here, have a look at it. It will explain to you how I use expected goals and how expected goals can really help with your trading and betting decisions. So those free tutorials are all there at youtube.com/@footballtradingprofits. Do please remember to subscribe, because I'll be downloading more videos in response to members wanting some details on specific elements of trading. So if you'd like to learn more about trading football, footballtradingprofits.com/2025 offer. It's a decent offer. It's a 14-day free trial. 19th of October sees the return of Premier League football et al. Look forward to seeing you if you'd like to come along. You're already signed up for the e-letter, so thank you for that. No Premier League research, of course, this week. And in future, if you just head off to footballtradingprofits.com, I will be providing Premier League pre-match analysis and Premier League expected goals as well. They won't be sent in the e-letter. They will be available to you at footballtradingprofits.com's blog. So the blog section you will see here, you don't have to sign in to view the blog. And look out for what I call AII. I've trained As you can see, I'm doing research for Saturday for English League One, English League Two, only on the odds-on favourites, and that's the expected goals analysis here as well. So I'll be doing that for the Premier League for you for free. Each week you'll get an in-depth match summary, which will show you Fleetwood's strengths and weaknesses and their key players, head-to-head results, vitally important, key trading stats. This is a breakdown of what AI expects to happen based on statistics. So if you'd like a statistical analysis, 100% of their home matches have seen over 1.5 goals for Fleetwood, 60% over 2.5 goals. So even that stat on its own is great to trade with if it's 0-0 at half time, for example. Both teams to score analysis is offered as well, 67%. That's significantly higher than the League Two average of 51%. So there's a good chance of both teams to score as well. Corners you can't trade. Expected goals analysis. Expected goals 1.4. Expected goals against 1.81. That's not good. If you're conceding or giving your opponent more chances than you have the ability to score, you are stuck because that's telling you that your defence is in trouble. So this is all freely available to you every Saturday and Friday, probably on Saturday. So go and visit footballtradingprofits.com. Look out for the AI eye. What you'll see is, for example, Premier League last week or a couple of weeks ago, Leeds, Tottenham, and then you've got the expected goals here. Arsenal, West Ham, got the expected goals there. So hope you enjoy the international break. I'm looking forward to the return of league football because that's where I excel. But we have been making some nice little gains here and there, mostly thanks to the need for the win and targeting teams who are third and could go second, and teams who are second and could go first, and also targeting those big ranked outsiders like Lithuania, who take the lead, ranked 145th in the world. We're talking heading near San Marino, Andorra et al. Video's getting a bit long now, but I hope you find it useful, and I'll speak to you again next week, and we'll have the Premier League research freely available for you next week. Have a great week.